Hi, today you don't have to have my book, but if you've got my book handy, it'll be good because you can refer to it. I've said to the people who have joined my Patreon site and contributed to that, I said I'd go through the book page by page, but you don't have to have the book, it's just that everything's always good to refer back, isn't it? Okay, so page 170. Page 170. You'll need a Jo. Those of you who've never done the Jo before, you'll need a Jo, or buy yourself a broom handle. I'm going to go through the basics. Now, it may seem boring to a lot of people, but if you want to be a martial artist, or if you think you're a martial artist, do you act in martial artists' ways? This is the big question. When you go into a restaurant or a place to eat, do you always sit with your back to the wall so that you can see the door of the restaurant and you can view the restaurant in general in case there's a fight, a problem? This is not being paranoid, it's being a martial artist. I sit and eat quite comfortably. All my students know, and my partner, she knows when we go into a restaurant, oh, Tony will sit there. I've been like that now for, I don't know, all my Aikido career, because my teachers used to say, you can't switch from being a martial artist to a human being without a lot of training. You have to train to be a martial artist. Naturally, we're a human being, but we have a lot of errors. So if you're interested in doing this with me, then I'm going to bring out some basic points that may seem boring to most people. If you want to be a martial artist, it's the finer points that will make you precise, that will make you accurate in many ways within yourself and the art you're doing it. Okay, so anybody that's interested in the Jo, this is a sample video for some of you, and as I said, on my Patreon page that I'm building, where people contribute to, there'll be a fuller film. Okay, so I'm just going to give you information that Saito Sensei gave to me. He dono senses weapons, but really when we do the weapons, I always say we're doing Saito Sensei's weapons, because he made far more than what O Sensei ever taught him. He just kept making them. In my opinion, there's far too many, but that's just in my opinion. But those who are keen can fit them in. The thing with the weapons is you need time to do them. Okay, so notice how I'm holding my Jo. I'm not loose. I'm not sort of like casual and holding it loosely. I've got all my fingers round the Jo. The Jo is in front of my foot, in between the big toe and the second toe. Okay, the big toe and the second toe. Now, I'm looking down, so please notice that my head is looking down at my Jo. This is a very bad human habit. And if you look at even the Iwama top teachers, they will do sort of katas and saburis, and then they'll drop their head like that when they put the Jo. Okay? So they'll be doing their saburis, and they'll put the Jo down once they're finished, and they'll look down like that. It's a very immature thing, but it's in there without them knowing it, because they haven't observed themselves. Saito Sensei said get a gi, weapons, and a mirror. If you haven't got a mirror, use a door or a window that reflects back so you can see yourself, see your imperfections. Okay. I know where my foot is, so why do I need to look down? I don't. Right? So the first basic thing is to hold the Jo. Now, to set up a mental idea of this, I'm going to think about myself, and hitomi, it means my body and posture is small. So another thing Sensei said was, imagine you're hiding behind your jo. Now it's a stupid thing to say because look at the size of me compared with the size of the jo. But if I think I must hide behind the jo, I will make my body as small as I can. You know, I won't sort of stand like this. I'll go, oh, how small can I make my body? You know, without turning the feet wrong. So the angle is very important. Okay, so fingers, don't look down. Try it a few times, take your jo. Don't look down, just place it there. If you look down at first, because you need confidence, that's fine. But, you know, it's not a big thing, don't worry about it. But if I look down, oh yes, it's in between my big toe and my next toe. It's because I've done it so many times. So if you're going to look down, don't keep doing it. If you do a kata, remember, the minute you start putting your head down, get a red light in your head to say, don't do that. Sensei used to say to me, I remember being in Iwama, he said, don't worry Tony, as soon as you go to make a mistake, with all your knowledge now, you will see a red light in your head. I now know what he means. I didn't at the time. Okay, the next point I'd like to make is, don't just pick the jo up. If you pick the jo up, it's easy. Look, it's easy to pick up and put it in the hand. I must go to the jo. Okay, but this is something I mustn't do. See how square I am now? How wide I am? I mustn't do this. But you'll see everybody do it. They'll either do this to get to their jo, or they'll do this to get to their jo. Or they might even do it halfway to get into the jo. Where's the next big problem? The next big problem is you'll come here and I'll come here and they'll leave a little bit out of the jo. Or when they've done a striking movement or a skiing movement, they leave a bit out of the jo. Since you said they could use this, if somebody grabbed your jo in Jo Dori, Jo Nage, they could use that and do an ikkyo on you with your own jo. So if you don't have anything out the end, they can't do it. Okay. The hand end, can you see here? The hand end is half on and half off the jo. Not there, with a little bit of jo sticking out. Not too much, but the little finger should be half on and half off the jo. This is the same when holding the ken. So you're learning two things in one. The next thing is, it's good to come up against a wall, and a lot of people, they do that. They go back and then they go forward with the ski. Okay, so they go back and forward with the ski. Sensei also used to say, think that there's a wall behind you. So I'm putting my elbow on the wall. My elbow on the wall. So I'm in Skinner Kamae. If I go forward with my hand and ski, forward with my hand and ski, I'm always only going forward. If I take back to pump it, the time I do that, okay, so the time I do that, your attacker could come in because they would see an opening, they'd see you're moving, but look, I'm going the wrong way. My jo is going the wrong way, isn't it? I should be going forward. So here, you slide the front hand and forward. Bend the knees. So I'm against the wall with my elbow. I'm against the wall. I'm against the wall. I soften the knees as I slide. I soften the knees as I slide. Notice my torso, and that doesn't move. It doesn't go like this and then like that. We don't want to pump it. Soften the knees, slide. This hand, the wrist should not go past my body. If it's here, it's too far. I'm starting to go outside my natural centre. This is not far enough. This is not far enough. It's when the wrist is in line with your torso. So, even though it seems basic, there's a lot to work on, isn't there? So, I can now go against the wall with my whole arm, my buttocks, my right buttocks touching the wall. I'm hiding behind my Jo. I'm softening my knees, and notice my torso, my shoulders, they're not going to come round, and I'm going to try and reach for my Jo. Now this will may not take you months, but it took me months and months to learn this. I have to use some yoga, or the understanding of yoga. So here, I don't want this shoulder to start coming round, so I have to find length in the arm, and I have to find softness in the body. So I get it this way. Okay. Try it against the wall because it really restricts you. Okay. So I'm hiding behind my Jo. My hands are not loose, but my hands are all the fingers around it. Not tight, you just need to hold it. Okay. So I soften, I reach, I take it, I ski. I hide behind the Jo, my fingers around, my gaze is forward. I'm in hitomi. I soften, I take up, I go forward, half on, half off with the little finger. Don't look down when you put it down. Okay. If this was a wall, obviously it's a curtain, but if it was a wall, it would tell me if I'm going to be hitting the wall or not. So you move forwards. Forwards. Okay. If you can do all that, piece by piece, then you'll be doing really well. It's the precision that makes you good, not the repetition. Repetition, once you get it correct and do it like this slowly, repetition is then done well. But 1,000 cuts done badly and 1 cut done good, you know the answer to that. The next thing is, why is it so important that I don't just pick my Jo up? If that's what I want, somebody's coming, why don't I just pick it up? Sensei also said, what about if someone else has a Jo, and as you're doing that, they knock it away. And as they knock it away, you can't grab your Jo. You know, they've taken control while you're busy trying to get it. So he said, it's on the ground, that's where you put it, you go to that. It's on the ground, you go to that. I'm doing this in my bedroom, you can do it inside if you can go outside. We will be doing a lot of work outside and with detail, but these can be done inside. Okay. So page number 170 It tells you in there these exact same details, but not fully. It doesn't tell you about this little finger and these other points. Look straight ahead. Fingers round. A soft body but an alert body. Slightly bent front leg. You don't want your legs locked. Back legs just soft but not collapsed. So you're in hitami with the body. Fingers round here. I go to this, and when you ski, you're in. That's the chokuzuki. If you were in the rest position, the hand would sit back on this. The hand would sit back on this muscle here. Don't pull it back here. Just be there. When you do the ready position, you just bring that front hand a little bit along as you move the front leg. Okay, so it's coordination of your body. So you're looking forward, kamae, and you're ready. Okay. Kamae, you're ready. When you ski, this backhand, you'll notice a lot of teachers, the Iwama teachers I'm talking about as well, they'll do this. You see the finger here? Sensei told us never do that, because if you've got a finger sticking out, it can be easily hit and broken with another person's jo. So don't do it. He always used to say, just tuck it in or don't have it out too much. You'll see a lot of teachers do this. This is a human fault. This is a human error fault, not a martial artist fault. I must admit though, I used to see him with his finger out many times, but he was telling us what we must do as lower grades, and his Aikido was so superbly refined. But I'm just saying, he would shout at us if we would do this, but if he done it, obviously nobody was there to tell him. Hey, check yourself every time. Check yourself every time. He would say, each one is one. Each one is one. Each one is one. Don't bring the body round. Keep it so it doesn't move. Don't pick up the jo at all. Keep it fixed. You go to the jo, keeping the shoulder back. Pick it up, ski, without it going back. Okay. You have more than enough there to work with. We'll keep going further, but we're going to go through the book in the stages that I made it, because I think them points are important. Whether you do or not, I can't help you. It's just the way I was taught. Okay. Saito Sensei would teach differently in Iwama than when he used to travel the world, because he realised that around the world people were not putting in the same amount of time as in Iwama. They were there every single day, twice a day, 6 days a week. They would train. They would have one day off, Mondays. Around the world now, if you're a real keen Aikidoka, the hardest you seem to work is 3 days. So the past is the past, but the exact points are to be adhered to. Please remember this. Thank you for your time. Oh, one small point. When you get your broomstick, it should fit under your armpit like this. Not shorter or taller. All right? If it doesn't, just slide under your armpit. It's like a pair of shoes. It's not the size for you. Thank you for your time.